Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
I've always been a quiet kid, never causing trouble in school. But there is this one time in 7th grade when I just couldn't take it anymore. Our history teacher, let's call him Mr. Strict, had these crazy bathroom rules. He barely let anyone go during class, like he thought we were all trying to skip out or something. At first, I tried to deal with it. I'd make sure to go before class, drink less water, the usual stuff. But one day everything just went wrong. It started in the morning when I woke up late. I rushed to get ready, skipped breakfast, and barely made it to school on time. By the time history class rolled around after lunch, I was feeling it. My stomach was gurgling, and I knew I had to let one rip. As soon as I sat down, I raised my hand. "Mr. Strict, can I please use the bathroom?" "No, you should have gone during the break." I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen. The class started and I sat there getting more and more uncomfortable. Every few minutes I'd raise my hand again. "Please sir, it's an emergency." I said no. "Now pay attention to the lesson." I could feel the pressure building. My classmates were starting to notice something was up. A few of them were giving me worried looks. I was sweating, trying to hold it in. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up, desperation in my voice. "Mr. Strict, I really need to go. Please, just for a minute. Sit down right now or you'll get detention." That was it. I'd had enough. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Fine. You asked for it." I sat down slowly, making sure everyone was watching. Then I let it rip. It wasn't just any fart. It was the mother of all farts. It echoed through the classroom like a foghorn. The smell hit a second later. The reaction was instant. Kids were gagging, covering their noses with their shirts. Some were laughing, others looked horrified. Mr. Strict's face turned bright red. The smell was so bad. It was like a mix of rotten eggs and week old garbage. Even I was surprised by how powerful it was. The whole room was in chaos. Mr. Strict says, "Open the windows! Everyone out in the hallway!" Once we were in the hallway, Mr. Strict pulled me aside. He looked furious, but also kind of embarrassed. "Why didn't you tell me it was this serious?" "I tried, sir, multiple times." He sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Go to the bathroom. We'll talk about this later." I didn't get in trouble, surprisingly. Instead, the next day, Mr. Strict announced new bathroom rules. Anyone could go if they really needed to, no questions asked. He even apologized to the class for being so strict before. Word got around school pretty quick. I became a bit of a legend. "The kid who farted freedom," they called me. Some of the other teachers even loosened up their bathroom policies. For the rest of the year, whenever Mr. Strict saw me raise my hand, he practically jumped to let me out. I never abused the privilege though. I figured I'd made my point. Looking back, I know it wasn't the most mature way to handle things, but sometimes, when adults aren't listening, you've got to make some noise to be heard. Or in my case, make some smell. From that day on, I was known as a kid who changed the rules with a fart. Not the legacy I expected, but one I am oddly proud of. After all, how many people can say they improved school life for everyone with just one epic toot? It had been a long day. We'd just taken in a bunch of new rescues and I was feeling pretty drained. All I wanted was to get home, kick off my shoes and relax with my dog Bruno. But fate had other plans. I was cruising down the highway minding my own business when this fancy SUV came roaring up behind me. The driver was honking and flashing their lights like crazy. I looked in my rearview mirror and saw this woman gesturing wildly at me. Now, I am not one for confrontation, but I also wasn't about to let someone bully me on a road. I kept my speed steady, figuring she could pass me if she was in such a hurry. But nope, she wasn't having it. Suddenly, she swerved into the lane next to me and pulled up alongside my car. I could see her yelling something, but I couldn't make out the words. I just kept my eyes on the road trying to ignore her. That's when things got really crazy. She got in front of me so close I had to slam on my brakes to avoid hitting her. Then she started slowing down, forcing me to slow down too. I couldn't believe it. She was actually brake checking me. I was getting pretty nervous at this point. Bruno must have sensed my attention because he started whining softly. I reached over to pat his head, trying to calm both of us down. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the woman slammed on her brakes and came to a complete stop right in the middle of the highway. Cars behind us were honking and swerving to avoid a pileup. It was absolute chaos. Before I could even process what was happening, she jumped out of her SUV and stormed towards my car. I quickly hit the lock button, my heart pounding in my chest. She reached my door and started yanking on the handle, screaming at the top of her lungs. "Open this door right now, you idiot! Do you know who I am? How dare you cut me off?" "Lady, I didn't cut you off. Please go back to your car before someone gets hurt." But she wasn't listening. "You think you can just drive however you want? I'll teach you a lesson." And that's when she noticed my partially open window. Before I could react, she shoved her arm through the gap, trying to grab at me. Bruno, who had been surprisingly calm until this point, suddenly sprang into action. In a flash, he lunged forward and clammed his jaws around her arm. The woman let out a blood-curdling scream and stumbled backward, clutching her injured limb. "Your monster bit me! I'll sue you! I'll have that beast put down!" I was in shock. Everything had happened so fast. I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911, my hands shaking. "I need help. There's been an incident on the highway. A woman attacked me in my car and my dog bit her in self-defense." As I was talking to the dispatcher, I noticed several people had pulled over and were recording the scene on their phones. Thank God for that. At least there would be evidence of what really happened. The police and an ambulance arrived within minutes. The woman was still ranting and raving, demanding that Bruno be taken away. But when the officers started talking to witnesses and looking at the video footage, her tune changed real quick. Officer says, "Ma'am, based on what we're seeing and hearing, you're the one who's going to be facing charges here. Reckless driving, attempted assault, and a list goes on." The look on her face was something else. She tried to argue, but the evidence was pretty damning. As the paramedics patched up her arm, the officers took her statement, then mine. I was worried about Bruno, but the police assured me that he was justified in protecting me. One of the officers even gave him a pat on the head. "Good boy, you did your job well." As they led the woman away in handcuffs, I overheard her muttering about how her lawyer and how she'd make us pay. But honestly, I wasn't too worried. With all the witnesses and video evidence, I was pretty sure she was the one who'd be paying. For her actions, that is. The whole incident left me shaken but also grateful. Grateful for Bruno, for the quick response of the police, and for the strangers who stuck around to make sure the truth came out. As we finally headed home much later than planned, I gave Bruno an extra scratch behind the ears. "You're the best buddy. Let's go home and get you a nice big treat. You've earned it." Bruno just wagged his tail, looking as calm as ever. To him, it was just another day of protecting his human, and I couldn't have been more thankful for that. 4 years ago, I was a widower raising my teenage daughter alone. My late wife Sarah had passed away after a long battle with cancer, leaving us both devastated. Sarah had been my high school sweetheart, my best friend, and the mother of our beautiful daughter. Losing her felt like losing a part of myself. Then I met Anna. She was vibrant, funny, and seemed to breathe life back into our home. My daughter was cautious at first, but Anna made an effort to connect with her. I thought we were building something beautiful together. 2 years into our relationship, Anna and I got married. We decided to buy a new house together, a fresh start for our blended family. The move was hectic, happening right before our wedding, but I was excited about our future. It wasn't until recently that I discovered the truth about what happened during that move. My daughter's 18th birthday was approaching, and my mother wanted to put together a special photo album for her. She asked me to find some old pictures of my late wife and my daughter growing up. I thought it would be a simple task. I have boxes full of photos and mementos from our life together. But as I searched our new house, I couldn't find them anywhere. I looked through every closet, every drawer, even the attic. Nothing. Confused and increasingly worried, I asked Anna if she had seen them. Her response shook me to my core. "Anna, have you seen the boxes with Sarah's photos?" I can't find them anywhere. Anna looking uncomfortable. I need to tell you something. Me feeling a sense of dread. What is it? When we were moving, I threw them away. Me stunned. What? What do you mean you threw them away? I was feeling insecure and jealous. I thought I thought if I got rid of them, it would help me feel like this was really my home. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Years of memories, irreplaceable photos of my daughter's childhood, mementos from my life with Sarah, all gone. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. How could you do this? Those weren't just things, Anna. They were memories. They were part of our lives. Anna tearfully, I am so sorry. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was just so jealous of Sarah. Jealous? She's gone, Anna. She's been gone for years. How could you be jealous of someone who's no longer here? I know it doesn't make sense. I wanted to feel like I was your only wife. By erasing my past, by destroying my daughter's memories of her mother, the argument went on for hours. Anna tried to explain her insecurities, how she felt she was living in Sarah's shadow, but all I think about was what we had lost. Photos of my daughter's first steps, family vacations, quiet moments at home, all gone because of a moment of jealousy. I spent the next few weeks in a daze. I slept in the guest room, unable to be near Anna. My daughter was devastated when I told her what had happened. She barely spoke to Anna and I couldn't blame her. Anna says, please, can we talk about this? I know I made a terrible mistake, but I want to make it right. Make it right? How? Those memories are gone, Anna. You can't just replace them. We could try to find copies from family and friends. I could reach out to Sarah's old friends. That's not the point. The point is that you deliberately destroyed something precious to me and my daughter. How can I trust you after this? I tried to salvage what I could. I reached out to family members and old friends, collecting whatever photos they had of Sarah in our life together. But it was a fraction of what we'd lost. Each recovered photo was a bittersweet reminder of how much was gone forever. As the weeks passed, I found myself re-evaluating our entire relationship. Had there been signs I'd missed? How long had Anna been harboring these feelings of jealousy? And more importantly, can I ever trust her again? Anna tried everything to make amends. She suggested marriage counseling, offered to help search for more photos, even talked about putting together a new memory book. But the damage was done. Every time I looked at her, I saw the person who had tried to erase a part of my life, of my daughter's life. I tell her, I've been thinking a lot about us, about what happened. She answers hopefully, and I don't think I can move past this, Anna. But you did. It's not just about the photos. It's about respect for my past, for my daughter's memories of her mother. Anna, tearfully, please give me another chance. I'll do anything to make this right. I'm sorry, but I think it's best if we separate. I need time to think about what I want for my future. Anna, sobbing, but what about the baby? I'm pregnant, remember? I know, and I'll support the child, of course, but I can't stay in this marriage. Not after this. It wasn't an easy decision, but it felt like the only one I could make. The trust was broken, and I couldn't see a way to rebuild it. My daughter needed me, and I needed to honor the memory of the life I had shared with Sarah. So here I am packing up my life again. It's not how I imagined things would go when I married Anna, but sometimes life takes unexpected turns. As I carefully wrap up the few photos of Sarah I managed to recover, I am reminded of the weight of memories and the importance of cherishing them. I don't know what the future holds. Co-parenting with Anna will be challenging, especially given the circumstances of our separation. But I know that moving forward, I'll be more careful about protecting the memories that matter the most to me and my daughter. And hopefully in time we'll be able to create new ones that honor the past while embracing the future. I've lived in this condo neighborhood for about 5 years now. When I first moved in, everything seemed great. We each had our own garage and there were plenty of parking spaces for extra cars. The rules seemed fair. You just needed a sticker or to be on a safe list to park overnight. But things started to change about a year ago. More and more people began using their garages for storage or as makeshift offices instead of parking their cars. The Homeowners Association board didn't do anything about it, even though it was against the rules. And the company they hired to patrol at night, they might as well not exist. Half the time they don't even show up, and when they do, they don't bother checking cars or giving out notices. It's been a nightmare trying to find parking. I work late shifts at the hospital, and coming home at 2 a.m. to find no parking spots is beyond frustrating. I've had to park blocks away and walk home in the dark more times than I can count. And I'm not the only one dealing with this. My neighbors are all fed up too. We brought this up at every homeowners association meeting for the past few months. The response? We're busy. Can you believe that? We're paying $500 a month in fees, and that's all they can say. Last week, things came to a head. On Friday, I noticed some tree trimmers putting up cones in several parking spaces. They were blocking off areas for their trucks to work on Monday. Now, normally, I'd be all for keeping the trees trimmed and maintained. But with our parking situation, it felt like the last straw. I didn't do anything about it myself, but I wasn't surprised when I saw what happened over the weekend. My neighbors had taken matters into their own hands. They'd moved all the cones and parked their cars in those spaces, not just a few of them. Every single coned-off space was now filled with a car. This morning I woke up early, curious to see what would happen. As I walked towards the entrance of our neighborhood, I couldn't believe my eyes. There were 4 big tree trimmer trucks just sitting there, unable to get in. At least a dozen of my neighbors were standing around, along with the homeowners association president and a guy who looked like he was in charge of the tree trimmers. He did not look happy. I joined the group and things were pretty tense. Here is how it went down. Tree trimmer manager, what's going on here? We put up cones to reserve these spaces. How are we supposed to do our job? Neighbor 1 tells him, and where are we supposed to park our cars? This has been a problem for months. The HOA president, now let's all calm down. I'm sure we can work something out. Neighbor 2, work something out? We've been trying to work something out for months. You haven't done anything about the parking situation. I say, that's right. I've had to park blocks away, walk home in the middle of the night because there is nowhere to park. Neighbor 3, and what about all the people using their garages for storage instead of cars? That's against the rules, but you never enforce it. President says, we've been busy with other... Karen, a woman I recognized as always complaining about everything. This is ridiculous. I need these trees trimmed. My view is being obstructed. Your view? We can't even park our cars. The tree trimmer manager says, look, I've got a job to do. Can't you all just move your cars for a few hours? Or where exactly are we supposed to move them to? There is no parking anywhere else in the neighborhood. This is unacceptable. I am going to call the police. Go ahead, call them. Maybe they can explain to you how we have the right to park in our own neighborhood. The president adds, let's not get the authorities involved. How about this? We'll have an emergency meeting tonight to address the parking situation once and for all. And what about today? Are we supposed to just not go to work so these guys can trim trees? The manager sighs and says, look, I get it. You're all frustrated. How about this? We'll come back next week, but we need a guarantee that we'll have space to work. I tell him, and we need a guarantee that we'll have space to park every day, not just when it's convenient for tree trimming. HOA president, looking defeated. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll have a meeting tonight, we'll address the garage usage issue, increase patrols, and figure out a better system for visitor parking. And we'll work with the tree trimmers to schedule the work at a time that doesn't cause more parking issues. But my trees! Your trees can wait a week. Our parking can't. In the end, the tree trimmers left, promising to return the following week. We all agreed to attend the emergency meeting that night. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it felt like a step in the right direction. That night at the meeting, true to their word, the Homeowners Association laid out a new plan. They'd start enforcing the garage usage rule, increase night patrols, and even look into creating more parking spaces. It wasn't going to solve everything overnight, but it was a start. Idiot Karen sulked through the whole meeting, but even she couldn't argue with the majority. Her precious view would have to wait a little longer. Sometimes it feels good to see entitled people not get their way, especially when it's for the greater good of the community.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.